So let's take a moment to review how you even do order of operations. The acronym that you want to remember is PEMDAS. P stands for parentheses. With parentheses, though, also comes absolute value. So if you see an absolute value, you have to do that first. So you're going to treat absolute value bars just like parentheses. E stands for exponents. So this isn't just saying something to the second power, or something to the third power, or something to the fourth power. When you look at exponents, you also have to take a look at, are you taking the square root of something? Are you taking the cube root of something? And just as a reminder, a radical with nothing means the square root. A radical with a 3 in it means the cube root. And if you need a review of how to do the square and cube root, please take a look at the square root and cube root video. M stands for multiplying. D stands for dividing. A stands for adding. And S stands for subtracting. Alright, one thing that you have to remember is that when you look at multiplying and dividing, you don't necessarily multiply and then divide, you do whichever comes first. Same thing goes with adding and subtracting. You don't add and then subtract. It's when you look at adding and subtracting, it's again whichever comes first. Alright, so we're going to take a look at some examples from what was in the packet of the ones that were most missed. Alright, so first in number 7, when you look at this, very first thing you want to do is parentheses. So first thing you have to do is 12 minus 4, which is 8. So I have 3/4 times 8, and we're going to say 8 over 1, so we can turn it into a fraction, plus 32 divided by 4 times negative 6. Alright, then here we're going to multiply, and when I multiply this, we can cross cancel, so 4 goes into 8 twice. So I end up having 3 times 2, which is 6. So I have 6 plus 32 divided by 4 times negative 6. Right, and then this is where people started to go wrong. A lot of people said, oh, I'm supposed to multiply before I divide. So I do 4 times negative 6 first. No. You look at what comes first, the dividing or the multiplying. And in this case, dividing comes first. So we need to do 32 divided by 4. So I get 6 plus 32 divided by 4, which is 8, and then times negative 6. Now I'm going to multiply, so I have 8 times negative 6 is negative 48, so I have 6 minus 48, which is going to give me negative 42. Alright, the next one that was commonly missed was number 8. Alright, in number 8, when we do order of operations, we have to do parentheses, but here we don't have parentheses, but we have absolute value. So I need to take the absolute value of negative 10, which is positive 10, but I still need to bring down this negative. So I still have negative 10 plus 3 minus 39 divided by 4. Alright, so now what I have to do is I have to work with this fraction over here, and I have to simplify this before I do anything else. So I'm going to bring down my negative 10, plus in the numerator I have 3 minus 39, which is negative 36, divided by 4. So now order of operations tells me I have to divide before I add anything, and negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. So I have negative 10 plus a negative 9, which gives me a negative 19. This problem was probably the most missed one of all classes working out this packet. Alright, so we're given the cube root of x plus y times p when x equals 8, y equals negative 28, and p equals 1/2. Alright, the biggest mistake here is that the cube root is only the cube root of x, not the cube root of anything. So when I plug it in, I still have the cube root, but my x value is 8, so I'm only going to plug in an 8 here. Plus y, which is negative 28, times p, which is 1/2. Alright, order of operations says first thing I have to do is parentheses, there are none, but then I have to do exponents. Exponents also means square root and cube root. So very first thing I have to do the cube root of, which is the cube root of 8, which is 2, and then I have plus negative 28 times 1/2. And again, if you don't remember how to do cube root, please take a look at that video so that you can review that. Next thing I have to do is multiply, so I have to do negative 28 times 1/2 So I have 2 plus negative 14, and 2 plus negative 14 is negative 12. Alright, for this one, most people had the right idea, but there was a common mistake that was made in the denominator. Alright, so first we're going to plug in our values. X is negative 1, so this is going to give me negative 1 squared, plus y squared, so plus negative 4 squared, divided by, again, negative 1 squared, plus negative 4, I'm sorry, not plus, minus negative 4 cubed. So in the numerator, I have negative 1 squared, which gives me 1, plus negative 4 squared, so plus 16, divided by, in the denominator, negative 1 squared, which is 1, minus negative 4 cubed. And remember, negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 gives me a negative 64, not a positive 64. So in the numerator, I have 1 plus 16, which gives me 17. And then in the denominator, I have 1 minus a negative, so I have to add the opposite, and 1 plus 64 now, not 1 minus 64, will give me 65. So my final answer is 17 over 65.